Um, we see, like, we all spend a lot of time celebrating the fancy side of design, like platforms that help us shop, scroll, or not to be entertained. But today, we are going to shift our focus to the systems that actually keep the world running. These everyday workflows. Think about the tools you touch the moment you log in. It's a ritual of filling the timesheet or navigating a portal just to apply for a day off. Most of these tools are functional, but few are optimized. When a workflow isn't streamlined, it doesn't just cause a minor annoyance, it creates a cognitive fatigue. Today, we are decoding how to turn functional into frictionless through real world examples. Leading us this session is Shabari V, an interaction designer, an avid photographer, and a digital artist. He truly understands how to frame a subject to tell a story.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today I want to talk about the topic UX for everyday workflows. So most of the time when we think of UX, we think of applications like e-commerce, social media, or productivity applications, basically. If you think about our own day, a huge amount of design actually goes into tools like dashboards, CRMs, admin panels, or even healthcare systems. So these are not tools people use occasionally. They are used for hours every single day, and because of that, even a small UX improvement can save a lot of time and remove a lot of frustration. So if you think about the tools you use today, like Jira, Figma, or some dashboards, you will probably remember at least one thing about that, which actually slowed you down. So moving on, what are everyday workflows? Everyday workflows are basically the tasks people repeat throughout their workday. These aren't one-time actions. They happen again and again, sometimes even hundred of times. For example, updating tickets, reviewing data, approving requests, or entering records. Because of this repetition, even a small inefficiencies can add up very quickly. Like something that takes an extra 10 seconds might not feel much in an isolation, but when you repeat it 50 or 100 times a day, it becomes a serious productivity issues. These are some of the examples of everyday workflows that people do on a day to next is these are some of the after effects of some bad UX and good UX while designing internal applications. So when internal applications are not designed well, people don't just struggle, they start adapting to it. They find their own workarounds, like they start exporting the data into an Excel, or keeping notes on a scratch pad, or using external tools to manage things. You'll often see people copying and pasting the same information across an Excel because it's easier than relying on the tool itself. This create inefficiencies and also increases the risk of errors. So, but when workflows are designed well, people can move faster and work with a lot more confidence without needing these workarounds. Like if you see someone writing down notes on a scratch pad, or like using an additional tool rather than the tool they are supposed to be doing their work on, it is basically a UX inefficiency that is being highlighted there. So these are the after effects of the good UX and bad UX while it comes for internal tools. So moving on, these are some of the characteristics that you can see for everyday workflows. So if you look at most workflows, like they are usually very data heavy and quite repetitive, and require a very high level of accuracy. For example, in finance or operations, even a small mistake in data can have a very big impact. So in these kind of tools, UX is less about visual appeal and more about efficiency, clarity, and error prevention. It's about helping the users getting things done quickly and correctly. So I'll quickly share an example of how a poor UX when comes to an internal dashboard looks like. Let's take an example of a CRM, and this is a process of creating a new client in a CRM system. So in many cases, the process is spread across like multiple tabs or screens, and users end up entering the same information more than once. So this kind of a fragmented experiences quickly become frustrating and slows the process down. So a better approach to the same flow can be like bringing a single or a unified flow where users can complete the task in one go. Like features like smart defaults or inline validation help reduce back and forth. So users don't have to keep fixing errors or re-entering data again and again, which saves them a lot of time. So next is a few principles that you should keep in mind while you design for internal applications or everyday workflows. Primarily, the first uh, key principle that you should always keep in mind is reducing the friction. Every extra click or an every extra step and an every like an extra decision can add up very fast. Users might not notice each individual step, but they definitely feel the overall effort. Like good UX focuses on removing unnecessary steps and making the interaction feel smoother. So it's about removing complexity completely, but about removing unnecessary complexity. So, for example, if you're prompted for a login page, you are asked to enter a username or password, and then the system is again asking you to enter an OTP that comes into your registered email ID or phone number, and then a captcha. The overall process is like tedious and time consuming. Instead, in most of the system that you see right now, the only prompting would be entering an email ID, and then a six-digit code will be coming into that, and you can enter it directly without any hassle. You can jump into the application. So that's a good UX that you can follow while designing for login screens in such tools. So it's an example that I can tell you. So the next principle would be optimizing for speed. Since these workflows are repeated often, users become very fast at it. So the interface should also support that speed instead of slowing them down. This is where things like keyboard shortcuts, quick actions, and minimal navigation becomes very powerful. If you think about tools like Figma or VS Code, people usually rely heavily on shortcuts and quick commands to move faster. The same thinking should apply for any internal tool. So, I mean, for designers like us, we'll use Figma on a very day-to-day basis, and most of the time we rely on a lot of shortcuts rather than just dragging your mouse around and looking for tools to do the thing. So, I mean, every internal tool should be optimized for shortcuts and quick actions, which will in turn reduce a lot of time and effort. So the principle three would be showing the important information first. Like when someone opens a screen, they should not have to search for what that matters. The most important information should be visible right away, while the less important details can come later. Like this kind of visual hierarchy helps users understand situations quickly and make faster decisions. For example, in a dashboard like this, alerts or urgent items should stand out immediately instead of being buried in the data. Like, I mean, some examples like stock trading applications show the current price, the change that is being happened, the drift, and alerts on the top, and all the general information can be shown beneath that. The next principle would be prevention of errors. Like in many of these applications or systems, mistakes can be very costly. So instead of just handling errors after they happen, good UX focuses on preventing them in the first place. Like this can be done through things like inline validation or helpful error messages and disabling actions until required inputs are complete. For example, showing that an email is invalid before submission is much better than letting the user submit and then showing an error later. Payment forms, some of the examples that you see you like in times are like the payment forms that instantly show invalid card number instead of waiting for you to click on submit. So, I mean, inline validation are a very great tool that helps you prevent errors in the first place. So fifth one would be reducing the cognitive load. Sometimes screen feel very overwhelming simply because there is too much happening at once. So grouping related information together and revealing details only when needed can make a very big difference. So the goal is to reduce the amount of thinking required from the user. If users have to stop and figure out what to do next, then the experience is already slowing them down. For example, tax filing app break one long form into a smaller steps, which makes them more manageable, and users can quickly go through the grouped items and complete their task in a go. So, few of the common real world examples that you might have seen across systems is the next slide. One of it is the smart search in workflows. This is a very common thing that you can see across different applications. Even Google search, you can just type in a query or a search item in your natural language, and the system itself is intelligent enough to identify the filters or the things that are required to complete the search results. So instead of forcing users to navigate through multiple filters or remembering exact field names, modern systems are moving towards more flexible and natural search. Like for example, shown here, if you search for what was the weather in Bangalore like 15 days back, the Google search or the AI overview that you can see across Google now, sort out the data type, what's the data that's being triggered from the users, and the time frame at which the data should be pulled, and also the location. So I mean, it takes a bit of time, and then gives you the exact results that you are looking for, and you can just type in your query in a very natural language that you speak or interact every day. So the next will be effective filters. Filters are still important, but they need to be designed carefully. If there are too many options that can actually slow the users down instead of helping them. Good filters are usually contextual and focused on what users need the most, rather than trying to cover every possible case. I mean, this happens after a lot of user research and things like people actually using the application, and the touch points that they use on a very regular basis are being analyzed, and the most effective filters can be grouped and showcased on the first glance, and this can actually save them a lot of time by just showing what's necessary than showing a bunch of filters that is necessary to very few people that are using the application. Next one will be inline editing. So, inline editing is a very simple but very effective improvement that you can use across systems. Like instead of opening a new screen to make a very small change, users can edit values directly where they are. In applications like Jira, you can enter details on the go without opening a slide out or a pop-up or a separate screen for doing very minor corrections. So, I mean, on the go, inline editings are a huge time saver. Think of it like Google Sheets, clicking and editing on a cell instead of opening another cell to make a very small change. And that's a very important feature that should be incorporated in all data heavy tools. The next will be bulk action that you have seen. It's a very major time saver. So when users are dealing with a large amount of data, being able to select multiple items and perform an action at once can significantly reduce a lot of effort. This is something we see in tools like email clients or admin dashboards, where actions like delete, update, or assign can be applied to many items at once. Archiving or deleting a set of emails from Gmail or Outlook is very easy these days. Like you can select multiple items at once and do the action in a single click. So bulk action is also a major time saver. Next one would be smart defaults. Smart defaults are like all about reducing repetitive work. Systems are very intelligent and these days, and if the system can predict or remember commonly used values, it saves users from having to input the same information again and again. For example, setting the current date by default or pre-selecting commonly used options can make the workflow much faster. One example that you would come across is booking applications, which autofills the passenger information or our personal information or basic details, are a huge time saver rather than entering everything from scratch. So smart defaults is also an emerging tech that you can see across a lot of applications these days. So next is a real world example of how like a portion of how an internal application should look like. This is a financial tool where users often need to review and adjust portfolio allocations. Like if they can see a clear visual representation and make changes directly from here, it becomes much faster and than navigating through multiple steps or screens. Visual feedbacks helps users understand the impact of the actions immediately. Like one of the principle or the example that we have seen in the previous slides is inline editing, which you can see here. I mean, according to the values you enter here, uh, the the real world changes that comes to a portfolio or or a asset allocation graph can be seen directly from here. And according to the results, users can easily make changes to get a right amount of fit for your portfolio. So it's a financial dashboard example that you can see. Next would be healthcare systems. So this is an example for a natural language search that you can perform here, like finding a like if you search like find cardiologist within 10 miles who is accepting new patients. From our natural language, the system is intelligent enough to understand what all filters we need to apply to it, and that can be shown on top of the results, which we can enable or disable according to our wish, and the results can be shown. And another principle that we can apply here is like keeping the filters very minimal, or showing only the filters that are that matter the most. Like you can only see 4 filters here, which is easily people can easily adjust it and get the suggestions that they require much faster. Takeaways that you can have from this is like the goal of a workflow UX is basically efficiency. So because these tools are used so frequently, even small improvements can lead to significant gains over time. It's really about compounding small wins across daily usage. So ultimately, UX for everyday workflows is about helping people do their jobs better. So when these applications are designed well, it removes friction and reduces effort. People can focus less on the tool and more on the actual work they need to get done. So that's when UX truly adds value. So thank you.